Welcome back to my weight loss journey. My name is Allison, and if you are new here, I am on a 100-pound weight loss journey, and the last time I weighed in, I was 68 pounds down. Normally on my channel, I take you throughout my day and I show you what I eat in order to lose the weight, but today's going to look a little bit different. Today I'm doing a Q&A just to let you guys get to know me a little bit better. And you guys have asked a lot of really good questions. I had a lot about my personal life, a lot about my weight loss journey, and so I'm going to start with questions that are more about my personal life, and then I'm going to finish with the questions that are more related to my weight loss journey. One question I got a lot is how I met my husband, which is quite a story. So I'm going to start from the beginning. So we actually met in college, but how I got there was pretty interesting. So I actually ended up going to college on a whim. I had different life plans that I was really working hard at, and they just weren't working out. So I decided that going to school was the best option. I actually went to school a few years later than most of the people I graduated with. And so I felt like I was older, which really I wasn't, but I didn't want to live in the dorms. So I ended up finding my roommates on Craigslist, which just sounds so crazy when I say it out loud. But there was a girl looking for a roommate, and I messaged her back, and we ended up growing up only a few miles from each other, and we had some mutual friends. So I felt a little bit more comfortable. And so we were trying to find a place to live, and then we ended up connecting with 6 other girls, and I moved into a house with 7 strangers. It was probably the craziest thing I have ever done, honestly. The original girl that I reached out to, we are still friends today, and it ended up being a really good experience. Now, I definitely don't recommend living with 7 girls. It was an adventure. So one of her friends at the time was actually living with my husband now, and that's kind of how we got connected. They were having a party at his house, and so I went over there with a group of girls, and we're like walking down the stairs, and he was so creepy. He goes, "Hey, do you want to see my room?" And I'm just like, absolutely not. Like, this is totally weird. And you have to understand that prior to me going to school, I spent my life doing martial arts. I taught martial arts. It just was who I was. And so after spending so many years of teaching like self-defense, I was like, absolutely not. Like this, I am not going into this random guy's room. And then I saw that he had a yellow belt hanging on the wall. And then my mind goes straight to like, oh, I can totally beat this guy up. Why my mind didn't think that before, I don't know. That was just kind of what I was thinking. What I didn't know at the time is he was trying to show off his drum set, but I didn't even see that he had a drum set in his room. But because I told him that I did martial arts, he wanted to work out. And so I gave him my number, but then he proceeded to follow me around all night long. And I actually thought he was the biggest weirdo. I thought he was a creep. And I kind of wanted him to leave me alone, to be honest. And then he messaged me the next day and wanted to go to the gym. And I was like, I really need some friends, because remember, I met my roommates on Craigslist and I didn't know anybody else. And so I agreed to work out with him, but then the rest is history. After we went to the gym that day, we just like hit it off. If you would have told me the night that I met him I was going to marry him, I wouldn't have believed you. Honestly, he is the best support system I could have ever asked for, and we make a really good team, and I couldn't be more grateful for the life that we have built together. There is that. That is kind of a long-winded answer, but that is how we met. We met at a party in college. One question is, do I have any hobbies? And that's kind of a hard answer, to be honest. I used to say that I do martial arts, but I don't really do that anymore. I would say that YouTube is my hobby. I really enjoy editing videos. It's just something that I do for myself. I love to play pickleball, but we don't do that very often anymore. Honestly, I just like to do different things. I like to go places. I do enjoy traveling. I like camping. I like being outdoors. But I wouldn't say that I necessarily like to do one thing. I think YouTube would be it. I also really love making things from scratch. I love to cook and I love to be in the kitchen. I just hate cleaning up the mess. I got one question about if we plan on having more kids, and I never want to say never, but at this point in time, we are not planning on having more kids. We just feel that the life that we can provide for him with just one is so much bigger, better, and greater than what we can provide for 2 kids. And honestly, we just feel like our family is complete. We don't feel a desire to have a second, a third, or 4th child. And we're just happy with the stage of life we're in now. I never want to say never because things change, your heart changes. We have one son, he is 2 years old. His name is Cooper, and he is the best thing ever. And we enjoy just having a simple little family and being the 3 of us. We also have 2 dogs. We have 2 blue heelers. So I feel like I'm answering some of these questions out of order. So it just seems like I'm jumping all over the place. I'm sorry. I probably should have organized them a little bit better. And another question was, are we close to family? My grandfather lives like 10 minutes down the road. But other than that, we don't live close to family. My family is about an hour away, and then his family is about 2 hours away. So it does make it difficult to see family as much as we would like. So it's much later, and I actually filmed this earlier, and most of the video was out of focus. So here I am trying this again. Another question was, what state do I live in? We live in the state of Missouri. And what was my job prior to staying home with my son? I worked in behavior. So I was actually working on my master's in behavior analysis, but I decided to put that on hold to stay home with my son. Another question I had, stop. Yeah, fire truck?
Truck.
He's trying to show you his fire truck. Here, hold it up high. Say fire truck.
Fire truck.
Yeah, fire truck. Another question.
Fire truck.
Yeah. Another question is if I liked horror movies. And here's the thing. I'm truly not a movie person. I just get bored and I would rather go do something than to sit and watch a movie. But if I do watch a movie, I do tend to like suspense, thriller, mystery, things like that like gets me on my toes and keeps me engaged. So I do like some horror, but it has to be really good and not too cheesy, if you know what I mean. Somebody asked what my religious beliefs were and if I'm involved in church. And so we do consider ourselves followers of Jesus. We follow the Bible, but we're not currently plugged into a church. We've had a really hard time finding a place that feels like it makes sense for us. Oh, I got a lot of questions about what my husband does for a living. He's a mechanical engineer. I think that wraps up everything about my personal life. It's possible I missed a few things, especially because my footage was bad, but I'm pretty sure I hit everything. Now moving into more of my weight loss journey focused questions. One of my biggest questions was, how did I get here? What made me get to a point where I wanted to stick to this lifestyle? And I have struggled with my weight all my life. I do not remember a time in my life where I either wasn't trying to lose weight or I should be losing weight, or I was trying to maintain weight loss. It was just always a part of my life. I've really struggled for the last 10 years to lose any weight. And I went to a friend's wedding. It was more of a formal wedding and I was so excited about it. But when I looked in the mirror, I just didn't like what I saw. I was so self-conscious, and we were traveling for this wedding. And that whole week I just felt gross. I didn't feel good about myself. And I told myself then, as soon as I get home, I'm doing keto. I'm doing something. I have to lose weight. I can't have any more excuses. This is it. And that's exactly what I did. As soon as I got home the next day, I started full-blown keto, and I literally felt so much better on day 2 of keto. But as I was doing keto, I kind of slowly started to transition into more of a low net carb lifestyle. I just found it a lot easier for me to just be low net carb instead of trying to be true keto. And the way that I've gone about this lifestyle has been so good for me. It's been so life-changing. I did get a few questions about if I make the same meal for my whole family, and yes I do, but I do make modifications. So if I'm making tacos, then I have low carb tortillas for me and my husband, and I use a normal tortilla for my toddler. If I'm making meatballs, my husband and I just eat meatballs and we might have a salad on the side. But for my toddler, I might give him meatballs and some garlic bread or something like that. In short, yes, we eat the same meal. We just have a few differences. Oh, somebody asked me if I get bored eating the same things. I do, actually. I get bored eating the same things, but I find that with this lifestyle, for the most part, I have enough variety where I don't feel like I'm eating the same things every day. The only thing that I eat pretty much the same is breakfast, and I definitely get tired of eggs. But for the most part, I feel like I have enough variety. And when I do feel like I need something fun to eat, I just find a low carb version, and that's been working well for me. Somebody asked if I miss anything. Yes and no. I miss some of the conveniences of food. Like, I really miss potatoes because it's so easy to make. Just cut up a potato, throw it in the air fryer. And probably the only other thing that I would say that I miss is really good pizza. Pizza is one of my favorite foods, and although we do have low carb pizza, I just really enjoy trying pizza from different places. So maybe that's just like the experience of pizza I probably miss, but I don't really miss it that much. Somebody asked if I plan on staying low carb forever, and not exactly. This is definitely a new lifestyle. I don't plan on eating exactly this way forever. Once I hit my goal, I want to slowly transition. So I'm gonna start adding a little bit more fruit in. I want to add a half a banana in slowly and just see how my body reacts, and just add fruits in over time. And I also want to do the same with potatoes. I want to just see how my body reacts, add a little bit more each and every day. I don't really want to eat sugar again. I think the only real form of sugar I'll probably transition to is like maple syrup and honey. Other than that, I do want to eat, for the most part, the same type of food. I am hoping that one day I can start making my own bread again. Before I went low carb, I was really enjoying milling my own flour, and I'm hoping that's something that I can do again. But if not, that's okay. I'm just gonna be very diligent about seeing what the skill does as I transition, and if something's just not going well, then I'm just gonna cut back on it. I am determined to keep the weight off, and I want to do whatever it takes in order to do that. I think I'm in a much different place this time because I don't feel controlled by food, and that's a huge thing. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. Thank you so much for joining me on my very first Q&A. I definitely will do this again if you guys liked it, but thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you had a really great Thanksgiving and had some wonderful time with your family. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to follow my weight loss journey, I would love it if you would subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.